Hello and welcome to Cooking with Rufert. Today we're going to make Æggekage, which is pretty much just a fancy omelet made in an oven. First we take our little pot, and then we knock out 12 eggs in here. Of course, I do not have 12 eggs, I have 10 eggs, but I'm not going to adjust the recipe for it, so just follow it, but put 12 eggs in. Then you give it a little whisk. Then you put in 1.5 deciliters of cream. Now I know that there's exactly 300 milliliters in this, so I need to use half of this, so I won't measure it beyond that. But of course measure it a little more. Because of course, for those of you who follow my shit, who are wondering, is of course it's lactose-free cream, so I won't shit. Well, I will, but not from this. Take a little whisk. And then we take baking powder. We take a fucking child-proof bullshit now. We take a teaspoon and a half. I take a little less because I only have 10 eggs in here. You're probably thinking at this point, what the fuck, baking powder in what appears to be an omelette at this point? Yes. It will make it, it will give it slightly more air in it, which makes it a lot nicer to eat, not so heavy. To whisk this properly, because the baking powder, at least the way I put it in there, likes to lump. And you don't want it lumping in there. You can see the lumps fucking around, so get a proper whisk, which is kind of difficult because this is pretty thick. A smart man would probably have put the baking powder in the cream and then divided it and then put it in here. That would probably have given it an easier time of being absorbed into this evenly. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, you might be tempted to use an electric whisk for this. Don't do that. Those things, the friction from them generate heat and it can fuck with a lot of dishes, especially baking stuff. There's slight baking powder in this, but due to the amount of, I think, protein that's in egg, it likes to act weird around heat, which is unfortunate. Okay, so we reach this point. Give it a little salt, however much you want. I wouldn't go too pepper and salt. I wouldn't go too overboard with this in the beginning because, well, you don't know how strong it'll be in it, so make it plain first and experiment. Then we take about 125, 150 grams of cooked ham. Put this in there. There we go. Also fuck this up. I'm gonna give it a little stir with a teaspoon. I already put my whisk in the sink. Shouldn't need that much of a stir though. Okay. Put that over here for a second. And now we are going to ready the sauce, this thing. It's going to go in the oven, so make sure it's one of those ceramic things that go in the oven. I'm not sure what the English word is. We're going to coat it with margarine. So you're gonna take some. If you have some of that spray-on shit, that's even better. Bit of there. You could do this by hand, but I find it's a little bit easier if you take a paper towel to get it divided evenly. Pinch that. This thing, it might not look like it's gonna go very far up the sides here, but it actually is. So we're gonna make sure we get quite a lot here. There we go. We put this in. The ham does not, since the ham is not a liquid, it does not want to distribute evenly everywhere in there. So you might give it a little hand depending on. Yeah, this thing might actually be a little bit too small for this, but we'll see. Put it in the oven. And then if you have a convection oven, then it's 150 degrees for 40 minutes. If it's not a convection oven, then it's 180 for 40 minutes. If you don't know what that means, it means if there's air going around in there, if there's farty, then it's a convection oven. If there's not, it's a regular oven. I've never used this thing before. Brand new. Like that. And there we go. And now we wait. We're nearing 40 minutes. It's raised and gotten nice and golden brown. It looks less brown on the video, I think, if looking at the preview, than it is in real life. That's about how you want it. It hasn't raised as much as I thought it would, but it's still pretty good. And again, I used 2 less eggs. Not that I think that would matter. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. If you're unsure about it, probably let it stay in a little longer. It is eggs after all. But yeah, this thing's about ready to come out. Oh, that smells nice. This would be easier than if I had 2 of these. It's looking really nice. It didn't raise as much as I thought it would, but you can never really tell. You can tell when it's done because it's fairly firm. So if we get a knife, we're gonna use this. Yeah, it's firm. It's not too squishy when I poke into it. So that's pretty good. And this is it. If you are Danish, bacon will automatically materialize for you to have with it, as well as some rye bread usually. But if you're not Danish, what you do, you of course chop the bacon yourself, but then you you get some chives that you washed, of course, and cut them. Very fine. And that's it. Time for watching.